capital. This is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight,
Ijoma Oyato.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, explosion rocks High Court in Rivers State hours before the commencement of hearing on the State Assembly crisis. University students return to classes after the end of protracted ASU strike. Joint health sector unions declare 5-day warning strike, say action commences January the 15th. And Sudan and South Sudan plan to deploy a joint force to protect oil fields as crisis deepens in the south.
And on business tonight, stockbrokers' resumption at the market after New Year holiday shows up all-share index.
And on sports news tonight, President Jonathan assures Nigerian athletes of total support as they prepare for the 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow.
We begin tonight with the story of even justice experiencing a dose of terror after a bomb went off at the Ahoda East High Court in Rivers State, South Nigeria. The explosion is reported to have occurred around 2 a.m. today at the Nigerian Bar Association Secretariat located within the court's premises. This happened on the day Justice Charles Wale was scheduled to hear a suit brought by the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Otelembraba Amakre, and others, seeking an injunction to restrain a member, Evans Bepe, from parading himself as the Speaker. The judge had on December the 16th last year made an interim order barring Mr. Bepe from parading himself as the Speaker of the House. Now, the officer in charge of the police bomb squad in Rivers State, Taiwo Akingbe, confirmed that another unexploded IED was also discovered on the premises and removed, but that no lives were lost.
At about 09:49 hours, the decouple operations Rivers State Command directed that an EOD team should proceed to Ahoda East to respond to an explosive attack incident report. EOD team led by ASP Desmond Agbala was dispatched accordingly, and team arrived at Ahoda Police Headquarters at about 11:00 hours. DSP Masoyi Dadi, the DCO of the police station, led the team to the scene of explosion, which was Ahoda High Court. Two witnesses were met at the scene. One, Ezewa O. Daniel, male, the senior registrar of the court, and the other one is Ebube Princeway Oweke, is the security man at the court. The witnesses stated that at about 08:30 hours of today, they sighted one object suspected to be dangerous on the floor at the entrance of the court premises. Hence, they reported to the police in Ahoda. EOD team commenced EOD technical operations and search. One unexploded IED was recovered and rendered safe, while the traces of an exploded IED were identified. At the end of the operations, it was established that 2 IEDs were thrown into the compound from outside, but the 2 were initiated while only one went off. The other one did not go off due to a technical fault. The exploded IED caused some slight injuries on the court buildings. Neither human injuries nor deaths was recorded. However, considering the strength of the explosive used in the fabrication of these devices, and considering the time that the explosive devices were thrown into the court premises, it is technically ascertained that the motive behind this train of explosives, of course, was not to kill, and of course the weight of the explosive was not enough to put down the building.
Well, staying with security matters, but this time in the north, 4 policemen are feared dead following an attack on a bullion van near a first-generation bank along the Nnamdi Azikiwe bypass in Kaduna metropolis. Eyewitnesses say the affected police officers who were posted to the bank were leaving the premises when the gunman who came on a motorbike opened fire. The gunman then escaped, shooting sporadically in the air. Now, the public relations officer of the Kaduna State Police Command, Aminu Lawal, who confirmed the incident, however, denied the fact that the policemen were killed. He says the injured officers have been taken to hospital for treatment. Now, from security, we move on to education. And after a 6-month lull, activities at tertiary institutions are springing back, with lecturers resuming their duties in earnest. With several universities across the country already gearing up for examinations, there are some, however, which appear not ready to resume.
After a 6-month battle of wits between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, there appears to finally be a light at the end of the tunnel as tertiary institutions across the country are coming back to life. As some of the schools visited across some parts of the country, traffic of students eager to get back to the classroom is evident, although some are unhappy as they feel rushed for examinations.
I intend to just use probably a year more on campus and, I'll be done with the whole thing. But this strike has elongated my stay on campus and has added additional 6 months to my stay on campus.
We don't see the possibility of we meeting up with the school calendar, because if we want to be sincere with ourselves, we'll see that we are actually going back, as in we are backsliding. Except they will have to rush students, that's rushing the lectures, and there is keeping some schemes.
Lecturers are also pleased to be back, but do not share the students' worry over the examinations, as according to them, there was adequate notice for preparation.
Before the break, they had about 3 weeks to the exam. So it's just the same thing. The lecturers are given 3 weeks to complete what they hadn't completed before, and then the exam would start.
However, while some schools are basking in the euphoria of resumption, a school like the University of Jos, where in spite of the suspension of the industrial action by the school authorities, has lecturers who are yet to comply with the directive, insisting on payment of arrears before this can be considered.
We had come to the knowledge of the fact that there were some attempts to elongate the strike in the guise of a local strike. But I will tell you that the chairman of ASU, who is himself a member of Senate by virtue of his appointment, gave assurance that they were not on strike.
ASU University of Jos has not down tools. We have issues with the earned allowances payment. Serious fundamental errors were made, and we said to rectify that.
For the students who are back to school, the march into the classrooms is in hope that the walls of strike will not cave in on them anytime soon.
Now, days after the Christmas and New Year celebrations, business activities are gradually returning to normal in Abuja, the nation's capital. But many civil servants are yet to fully resume at the Federal Secretariat, as the turnout of workers is still relatively low. Some civil servants told Channels Television that more workers are expected back later in the week. Our correspondent Linda Akigbe reports.
It's the first Monday of the year, and the city of Abuja is gradually coming alive slowly. Days after the Christmas and New Year holidays, workers are slowly going back to work. Although the federal government only declared Wednesday, January 1st, a public holiday, many civil servants are yet to resume work days after. The Federal Secretariat in Area 1 houses several federal government ministries. On a regular day, this place is a beehive of activities. This is not the case today. It is obvious that many workers are yet to resume work. but pockets of workers could be seen at their desk.
This place is very busy, but due to the holiday, some people travel, they are yet to back. So that reason you see people are just everywhere, just candy. But from any moment from tomorrow, you see people here will be so busy.
Today is better than last week. Last week was empty, but now you can see some cars, some people are inside office.
All the same, the workers are expecting a better year ahead.
Our expectation this year, we pray that our country should be a great country, that the God will revive this country, so that those that have not get job, they can be able to get job.
At the Federal Secretariat in Central Area, the story is the same. Although the turnout today is not as it usually is, those who are at work say they are rested, recharged and ready for 2014. Linda Kibi, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, workers in the aviation sector go spiritual, pray for a crisis-free 2014. That's in a moment. Stay with us.